time. It surrounds us, measures us, defines us. But what is it? To humans, time is motion, the ticking of a clock, the rising and setting of the sun, the heartbeat of a lifetime. Yet, for millennia, sages, philosophers, and scientists have asked, what if our time isn't the only time? What if there exists another kind of time, divine time, unbound by clocks, detached from gravity, beyond past, present, and future? And if such time exists, what does it mean for free will? In today's episode, we take a look at the concept of time itself and how this relates to divine time. This is the paradox of time and eternity. Across the ages, civilizations observed the stars and seasons, measuring time in cycles, days, months, years. But the concept of time, as we understand it today, is a much newer invention. Long before atomic clocks or digital calendars, ancient civilizations looked to the skies for order. The rising and setting of the sun, the phases of the moon, the changing of the seasons. These rhythms became the first measurements of time. The Egyptians divided the day into 24 hours, using sundials. The Babylonians, with their base 60 mathematics, gave us the 60-minute hour and the 60-second minute. Later, mechanical clocks marked the passing of hours with gears and bells. Still later, quartz crystals and atomic oscillations offered precision down to billionths of a second. But no matter how refined our tools became, one truth remained. Time, as we measure it, is a human invention, a way to carve the infinite into pieces, to make sense of change, to mark beginnings and ends. Yet the cosmos itself does not tick. It flows, it expands, it simply is. Our measurements help us live in time, but they may not reveal its true nature. A product of clocks and calendars, of factories and schedules. Modern physics paints time as a dimension, interwoven with space. But our experience of it is very different. We feel time, we remember the past, we anticipate the future. But we only live in the now. And yet, some traditions suggest God does not. The ancient scriptures of many faiths, from the Hebrew Bible to Eastern mysticism, speak of a creator who exists outside of time. A day is as 1,000 years, one verse says, and 1,000 years as a day. An idea not of poetic metaphor, but metaphysical truth, that divine time does not run parallel to ours, but above it. Beyond it, the book of Revelation speaks of a future filled with tribulation, judgment, and cosmic upheaval. Speaks of the end of days, of wars and seals and trumpets, of a final battle at Armageddon. Many have tried to predict when these events will occur, mapping timelines, calculating dates, correlating current events with ancient visions. But what if such predictions are missing the point? If God's time is not our time, then the prophetic clock does not tick to our rhythm. What seems distant to us may be imminent to Him. What feels long overdue to us may have only just begun in divine terms. Throughout history, believers have speculated about the end, awaiting signs, fearing judgments, but the truth may be more complex. Perhaps revelation was never intended as a schedule, but as a revelation of pattern, a message layered across time. If God sees the end from the beginning, then the events of prophecy may unfold outside of chronological logic. Symbols may span centuries, moments may echo across eras. Armageddon itself may not be a date on a calendar, but a convergence of spiritual, moral, and cosmic realities. This dissonance between human timing and divine timing is humbling. It reminds us that prophecy is not prediction, it is preparation, not a countdown to fear, but a call to align ourselves with the eternal, in a universe where time bends and stretches, where galaxies form and fade while a single human life flickers and fades. It is wise to remember the Creator's schedule is not our own. And what matters most may not be when the end comes, but who we are when it does. One of the first to explore this concept of time deeply was St. Augustine, a 4th century theologian who asked a deceptively simple question. What was God doing before creation? His answer? There was no before, because time itself, past, present, future, was part of what God created. To Augustine, God's eternity was not just an endless stretch of time, it was a timeless now, a constant present, no past, no future, just eternal awareness. But what does that mean for us? For beings who live one moment at a time? Could it mean that to God, our entire lives, our choices, regrets, triumphs are already known? And if God sees all outcomes, does that mean our actions are predetermined? Are we truly free? Fast forward to the 20th century, another mind begins to shake the foundations of how we see time: Albert Einstein. His theory of special relativity did more than revolutionize physics. It revolutionized our understanding of the present. Einstein showed that time is relative, that two observers moving at different speeds can experience time differently. This leads us to one of the most fascinating implications of relativity: the Andromeda paradox. Imagine two people walking past each other on a street. One is walking toward the Andromeda galaxy, the other away from it. They are only a few feet apart. But due to their slight difference in motion, relativity tells us they will disagree on what is happening right now in Andromeda, 2.5 million light-years away. To one observer, an alien fleet may have already begun its journey toward Earth. To the other, that same fleet has not yet decided to launch. And here's the twist: they're both right. How can this be? It's because in Einstein's universe, there is no universal now. Each observer has their own version of the present, shaped by their motion through space. And if that's true, then the future, our future, may already exist, depending on where and how you're looking. It's a shocking conclusion. It suggests that past, present, and future are not separate and flowing, but part of a vast four-dimensional block, a single tapestry of space-time. This is the so-called block universe theory, a view where the future already exists, waiting to unfold. But if the future is already out there, where does that leave free will? Some philosophers argue that if the future is fixed in space-time, our feeling of choice is an illusion. But others push back. They argue that while time may be structured in this block-like way, it doesn't mean events are causally fixed. In fact, quantum physics, the science of the very small, introduces randomness into the mix. At the quantum level, particles don't move predictably. They behave probabilistically. Outcomes are not determined until they're observed. There is wiggle room in the fabric of reality. Could our choices arise from this same unpredictability? Could the openness of the quantum world mean the future is not written in stone? Or are we simply choosing from outcomes already embedded in the block? Now return to the question of God's time. If God sees the block of space-time all at once, as some theologians suggest, does that mean God knows our every move before we make it? It depends. Some thinkers argue that divine foreknowledge does not mean divine causation. Just because God sees the outcome does not mean He forced it. It's the difference between watching a recorded movie and writing the script. God, they say, watches the film outside of time, but the characters still made their choices inside of it. It's a model of coexistence, of eternal knowledge and temporal freedom. Others are less optimistic. They believe that if every choice is already known, even before we're born, then we are not free. The debate continues. In recent decades, some physicists and philosophers have begun to connect the dots between consciousness, time, and free will. Could the mind itself be something that transcends time? Could consciousness be the one thing that navigates the block from within, giving meaning to the flow of time, one choice at a time? Some theories even suggest that quantum consciousness may act outside the constraints of time and space. It's speculative, controversial, but the question remains: if time is relative and eternity is real, then who are we in the midst of it? Time, it is the one thing we all possess and can never hold. We mark it, we chase it, we fear it, but perhaps we misunderstand it. Perhaps time is not a river flowing past us, but a dimension we are only beginning to understand. Perhaps God is not watching from afar, but present in all moments, always. And perhaps free will is not the absence of structure, but the capacity to choose within it, from Andromeda's paradox to the eternity of the divine. Time is not merely the ticking of a clock, it is the stage on which existence plays out, and the mystery that keeps us human.